So today I have the pleasure of speaking with Phil. Phil, do you want to introduce your business to us?
Yes, so I'm the Managing Director and owner of eCam Engineering. We're steel fabricators in the Stoke-on-Trent area. It's now, since I've owned it, it's now a family-run business. We're 53 years old, and I'm lucky enough to have my son and my nephew working with us as well. So that's us.
Ah, amazing. And what is it that you guys do?
We're steel fabricators. So we do everything from cutting the steel using lasers and plasmas and gas cutting to processing it with big machining centres and press brakes and a weld shop and a shop blast and paint shop. So we call ourselves a full service provider, start to finish and everything in the middle.
Amazing. It sounds so interesting.
It is, yes, yeah. And when people come and visit us, they say the same thing. The first thing they say is, wow, I didn't realise it was so big. And then when you show them around, they can't believe all the machinery and all the products that we make. Such a variation.
No, amazing. And I know you've already answered this in the 53 years, but how has that progressed? How's the business changed in those 53 years? Obviously, I know you haven't been in the business the whole time.
It started life in a little village called Alliston near Ashbourne, and then it was probably about 20 years ago or so, maybe a little bit more. It moved to Cheadle, just down the road actually from where we are now, and then it moved to this site about 15 years ago, and we're still here. And it's a small road, and some people call it eCam Village because we've got 3 industrial estates and offices. And so the business has developed. I think it was mainly machining when it started, and now we do lots of welding and machining and everything. So it's developed a lot, yes. No
job too small or big.
No, very true. We'll take on anything, or we'll have a look at anything anyway. We like to help out. That's how we look at it.
Fabulous. So, do you have a best customer or a best job that you guys have done?
Well, I have to mention that our biggest customer is JCB. Go back 53 years, the business was founded to supply JCB, and we still do today, as well as other customers. But JCB is, I'm a fan of JCB. I started playing football for JCB when I was 9, until I was 16. And then when I started work, I worked for a supplier for 17 years. And then I went to JCB and worked there for 10 years. And now I've been a supplier again for 10 years. So they've been a massive part of my life. And yeah, I'm a fan. They're a perfect example of a British family-run business. They develop their own products. They develop their own staff through the academy. In fact, we had one of their students here for the last 2 weeks doing work experience. He's a credit to the academy. So that's us.
Amazing. And that's a really good example of how 2 businesses can work in perfect partnership.
Yes. Yeah, we help them develop products. We supply them lorry loads every week, product going there to the different factories. In that respect, we're lucky because we're kind of in the centre of all the JCB factories. There's quite a few around Staffordshire, and we're in the centre of that. So I guess we're in a perfect position to help them supply them products.
No, great, thank you. Okay, so question 4 is, were there any business changes that you'd considered before COVID, but COVID made them a necessity?
Absolutely, yeah. I would say that skills shortages was our biggest problem before COVID, and we recognised that coming out of COVID, we need to do something about that. And I thought, we can't keep moaning about it unless we actually do something and try and put it right. So we'd never had any apprentices, the company hadn't. So I thought after COVID, we'd start an apprenticeship programme, and we've got 5 apprentices now.
Amazing.
Yeah, and the apprentice providers say we're quite unique because we've got these and we've got 100% retention rate, which is also quite unique. And the first apprentice we had actually won Apprentice of the Year for his college, which was really exciting for him, but also for me.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and the other thing that we looked at was, again, because of the skill shortages, was automation, and we invested in another CNC machine that had got an amount of automation on it just after the first lockdown, and we've just ordered another robotic welder, again, automation, to continue that plan, that investment plan of improving the automation. You know, and I think by the end of the year, those investments and the automation will give us an extra £1 million worth of capacity, which we'll be looking to find a home for, as it were.
Sounds like very exciting times, and kind of seizing the opportunity that COVID presented.
Yeah, I think so. I think the world has changed in manufacturing a little bit since COVID. A lot of the businesses have seen a huge upturn in work, whether it's resourcing from some of the low-cost countries, or whether it's just people have got new jobs and there's just more and more work out there. So you've got to invest, you've got to ready yourself to take some of that capacity to help out, and we're here.
No, perfect. Okay. So question number 6 is, what's your biggest learning since you became the managing director?
I think it's essential to have a long-term plan. So you build a long-term plan, and then you can work everything back from that. You know, you can have short-term plans, and you're not focused on, all of a sudden you've finished your plan, and then it's where do you go next? I like to look much further on of where the business could be in 10 years or even 15 years, and then try and work back from that. And that's what we've done. It helps with having my son and my nephew in the business, because we can have a plan for 20 years. It doesn't matter how old I am, they're young lads, and they're in the business now, and they're in prominent roles, and they can develop the business and get the sort of DNA of the business and how we've been successful and how we've moved forward, and also how we've not been successful. They can learn all that as they go along. So we have a long-term plan, and we can obviously tweak it as we go along as the world changes. But yeah, I think it's important that you have a long-term plan, and also I would say to anybody starting out to surround themselves with good people. You know, that's very important. And also a basic, but that's a basic in life, is to treat people with respect. Everybody. I personally treat, whether it's my works manager or whether it's the gentleman who's sweeping up, I treat them all with respect. I treat them all the same, because they deserve that.
No, completely. It's great advice. Completely resonate with that completely. So the next one, and this may make you chuckle. If you were able to give yourself an 18-year-old version of yourself some advice, what would that advice be, Phil?
It would be, never take no for an answer. You know, you come along and somebody say, "Oh, can we do that?" And somebody will say no. I want to know why. Find out why. Always dig deeper, because somewhere there's always a solution. Somebody will know a solution. It's very easy to say no. It's only a little word, but it stops lots of things. So never take no for an answer.
Perfect. Would your 18-year-old self listen to that?
I think so, yeah. I think so. I think for me personally, confidence was a thing. You leave school and you're surrounded by adults and working in an adult environment. And I was always brought up to respect my elders, so whatever they said must be right. But slowly, your confidence changes, and you think, actually, no, I want to question that. So as your confidence builds, then you can start to ask questions and question why it's a no. And can't we try this? Can't we try that?
So true, so true. And then the last question is, what is the most I can't read now. What is the most inspiring thing for you today?
The future. For me, there's so many opportunities with Brexit, with the way the world is changing after coronavirus. You know, you've got nuclear projects taking off, you've got renewable energy projects taking off, there's resourcing and all that's going on in the UK. And I think it's so exciting to be involved in business and being able to potentially get involved in some of those things and helping the economy, helping society. And so, yeah, the future for me.
Amazing. Well, Phil, that wraps up the 8-question interview. Great job. Some amazing answers.